Welcome back to Zarila HOA Stories. Before we begin this unbelievable case, tell me in the comments, which country and city are you watching from? I was gone for only 1 month, just 30 days away from my land, my peaceful escape from the noise of the world. I left everything locked, fenced, and perfectly the way I liked it. No neighbors, no construction, no disturbances. Just open sky, silence, and the comforting thought that when I returned, everything would be exactly the same. But the universe had prepared something else for me. The moment my tires touched the long, familiar dirt road leading to my property, an uneasy feeling crawled up my spine. The road looked different, cleaner, straighter, almost like someone had been maintaining it. But who would touch a private road in the middle of nowhere? I slowed down. My heart began to beat just a little too hard. As my car climbed the small hill overlooking the front of my land, I saw something, huge white shapes in the distance. At first, I thought I was imagining it. My brain tried to make sense of the impossible. Structures? No, those couldn't be buildings. Not here, not on my empty property. But as I drove closer, the nightmare sharpened into reality. Standing tall, shining under the afternoon sun, were 5 massive luxury mansions. Not small houses, not cabins, full, high-end, marble-walled mansions with glass balconies, landscape gardens, and private driveways. All of them standing neatly in a row. All of them sitting directly on my land. I slammed the brakes so hard the car shook. My entire world froze. How could anyone build 5 giant homes in just 1 month? Who allowed this? Who gave permission? And most importantly, why on my land? Before I could even process the shock, a loud beep echoed near the gate in front of me. A gate I had most definitely never installed. A man stepped out from behind a small security booth. Black suit, black tie, cold expression. He walked toward my car like he had been expecting me for days. "Welcome back," he said, smiling politely in a way that didn't match his eyes. "You're entering HOA territory. I'll need you to sign some documents." HOA? I felt the word hit me like a slap. I had never joined any homeowners association. I never even agreed to build anything on this land. "What are you talking about?" I asked, stepping out of the car. "This is MY property." The man's smile widened slightly, as if he knew something I didn't. "Sir," he replied calmly, "these mansions have been approved, constructed, and registered. Everything is legal. And since you're the original landowner, we expect your cooperation." None of this made sense. How could 5 mansions appear out of nowhere? How could an HOA form without my consent? And why did the man keep looking at me like he was waiting for something? Something felt deeply, disturbingly wrong. And I had no idea that this was only the surface, just the first crack in a secret that had been buried on my land long before I ever bought it. A secret someone clearly didn't want me to uncover. The man in the black suit stood perfectly still, holding that clipboard like it was a weapon. His eyes didn't blink. His smile didn't fade. Something about him made my instinct scream to get back into my car and drive away. But this was my land, my future, my investment, and I wasn't about to let some stranger tell me what I could or couldn't do on it. "What HOA are you talking about?" I demanded, stepping closer. "There's never been an HOA here. I bought this land specifically because it was isolated." He didn't flinch. Instead, he turned the clipboard toward me, revealing a thick stack of documents. Contracts, approvals, permits, maps, and signatures. My signatures. I felt the blood drain from my face. Every page had my full name, my address, my ID number, my signature that looked almost exactly like my handwriting. Almost. "These forms were filed 6 weeks ago," he said smoothly. "You agreed to the subdivision of the land, the construction of 5 luxury homes, and the establishment of the Crescent Ridge Homeowners Association." My heart thudded painfully. "I never signed any of this," I whispered. "That's a forgery." His polite smile finally disappeared. "Forgery is a serious accusation," he said quietly, stepping closer. "And accusing the HOA of misconduct can result in immediate penalties." Penalties? On my own land? My breathing quickened. The mansions behind him stood silently, perfectly symmetrical, their huge glass windows reflecting the afternoon light. There were no workers, no vehicles, no signs of construction. It was as if the homes had simply appeared overnight. And then I noticed something strange. Every front door was shut, but every curtain inside was drawn just slightly apart, like someone was watching from inside each mansion. I swallowed hard. "I want proof," I said. "The construction permits, the land transfer forms, all of it. I want to see who signed my name." "You already have," he replied, tapping the clipboard. "These are official government documents. Confirmed, authorized, and verified." I shook my head. "I'll call the police." For the first time, his expression changed. No smile, no politeness. Just a cold, flat stare. "You can call whoever you want," he said softly. "But let me warn you, everything is already recorded as legal. No officer, no court, no agency will help you." A chill ran down my spine. "What does that mean?" He stepped aside and gestured toward the mansions. "It means this isn't really about paperwork," he said. "It's about what's beneath this land. And since you've returned earlier than expected, the HOA board will want to speak with you immediately." "The board?" I repeated. "There's a board." "There always has been," he answered. "Long before you bought the land." His words hit me like ice. "Long before I bought the land? What are you talking about?" "This area was empty for decades." He gave a small, unsettling chuckle. "Empty on the surface," he said. "But the HOA protects the foundations. The real structure isn't what you're seeing above ground." Before I could ask anything else, a loud mechanical hum began vibrating through the air. Deep, powerful, coming from beneath the soil under my feet. The ground trembled lightly. The man's eyes flicked toward the nearest mansion. "They've activated the chamber," he said calmly. "They weren't planning to open it until next month. But since you're here, you might as well see what you signed for." My stomach twisted. I hadn't signed anything. I hadn't approved anything. Yet something beneath my land, something hidden and alive, was waking up. And the HOA clearly knew exactly what it was. The ground trembled again, this time strong enough to make the gravel near my feet jump. The man in the black suit didn't react. He simply adjusted his tie, as if mild earthquakes on private property were completely normal. "What chamber are you talking about?" I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady. "This land never had any underground structures." He glanced at me like I was a child, asking an obvious question. "Of course it didn't. When you bought it, the chamber wasn't built yet. But the foundation was already chosen decades ago. The HOA just completed the work you unknowingly approved." A jolt of fear shot up my spine. "I'm telling you," I snapped, "I never approved anything." He looked amused. "And yet, your signature appears on every document." Another vibration rumbled through the ground, this time accompanied by a faint metallic clank from somewhere beneath the nearest mansion. The air seemed to thicken, vibrating with each low hum. I turned toward the enormous houses. Their windows, which had earlier looked like dark reflective glass, now flickered with a faint blue glow from inside, almost like someone had turned on a hidden system, or like something was powering up. The suit man tapped his earpiece. "He's arrived. Prepare the descent." Descent? Before I could ask anything, metal plates beneath the center mansion began to shift. The manicured front lawn split down the middle like two sliding doors. Underneath was not soil, not pipes, not construction equipment, but a massive circular elevator platform slowly rising to the surface. The platform was surrounded by intricate machinery, glowing blue lights, and thick metal cables. This wasn't normal construction. This was military level, government level, or something even higher. My throat tightened. "What is that? What the hell is that?" He stepped forward, standing only a foot away from me now. "That," he said in a low voice, "is the access point to the archive. The real reason these mansions exist. I bought this land legally." I shouted. "None of this was here. And that was intentional," he said calmly. "Your land was chosen because it was isolated, forgotten, overlooked. Exactly the kind of place where the archive could remain undisturbed." "And what's inside this archive?" I pressed. For the first time, he hesitated. Not long, just a second. But it was enough to tell me he wasn't sure how much he was allowed to say. Finally, he answered. "Records, artifacts, knowledge that predates every government on this continent." I stared at him. "You're lying." He didn't blink. We don't lie. We enforce. The elevator platform reached ground level with a heavy metallic thud. On it stood 3 more people. And unlike the suit man, these weren't pretending to be friendly. They wore matching gray uniforms marked with a symbol, a circle divided into 5 segments, each segment representing one of the 5 mansions. The HOA emblem. The tallest among them stepped forward. "Bring him," he ordered. Before I could react, the man in the black suit grabbed my arm. Firm, unforgiving. I jerked away. "Don't touch me. You need to come with us," he said, voice still calm, but eyes sharp. "You have access rights. You're the original landowner. The archive recognizes only you." "Recognizes?" I repeated. "It's a machine, not a living thing." All 4 of them exchanged a look. Quick, subtle, uneasy. "It's not a machine," the tall one said. "It's older than machines." My mouth went dry. The blue glow beneath the platform intensified, shining through the metal gaps like something powerful was pulsing below. The air vibrated with a rhythmic hum, almost like a heartbeat. The tall man extended his hand. "You're coming down with us." I shook my head. "I'm not going underground with strangers into some secret chamber you built illegally." He gave a thin, almost pitying smile. "We didn't build it," he said. "We just discovered it." Before I could react, the platform began descending again, slowly, waiting for me. The man in the black suit leaned close to my ear. "If you don't come willingly," he whispered, "the archive will come to you." A cold wave of dread washed through me. Whatever was beneath my land wanted me, and the HOA was just the messenger. The elevator platform hummed as it waited, its metallic surface glowing with thin blue lines that pulsed like veins. Like it was breathing, like it was alive. I stood frozen at the edge of the cracked earth, the 5 mansions looming above me like silent guardians. Their windows glowed faintly, almost watching, almost waiting. The HOA men stood behind me, expressionless, patient, but their patience felt more dangerous than any threat. The black-suited man spoke softly, as if trying not to disturb something below. "You must come down. The archive has activated because of you." "I didn't activate anything," I snapped. "This is my land. I didn't sign any contracts. I didn't approve any construction. I didn't agree to any underground, whatever this is." The tall uniformed man stepped forward, calm and cold. "You misunderstand. Your approval wasn't needed. Only your presence." "What does that even mean?" He looked toward the descending platform, then back at me. "The archive responds to lineage. Bloodline. It recognizes the rightful successor of the land." I blinked, confused and furious. "What bloodline? I bought this land from a real estate company. There's no family connection." The tall man tilted his head with a strange, almost sympathetic expression. "That's what they told you. But documents can hide the truth. Blood cannot." My stomach twisted. The ground trembled again, stronger this time. Dust rose from the cracks. The hum from below deepened, vibrating in my chest. Something was waking up, something old and powerful. I stumbled back instinctively. The black-suited man grabbed my arm again, firm, unyielding. "If you continue resisting, you put yourself at risk. And us. And the surface." "The surface?" I repeated, voice cracking. "Is something going to happen up here?" All 4 of them exchanged another one of those silent, uncomfortable looks. Then the tall one said quietly, "If the archive remains unacknowledged, it will force its way to the surface. The mansions are here to keep it contained. But containment is unstable." A cold shiver shot through me. "And if I go down there?" I whispered. Then the tall man said, "It will calm." Calm. The words sounded wrong, like they were talking about an animal. Something alive, ancient, restless. I looked again at the glowing platform, at the blue veins running across it, at the strange machinery supporting it, pipes, conduits, gears, and something else, something organic looking beneath the metal that I couldn't quite process. "What exactly is the archive?" I finally asked. This time, no one answered. Instead, the platform rose again to ground level, faster, louder. The hum grew deeper, impatient. As if whatever was down there knew I was hesitating. The tall man's expression changed from calm to sharp. almost urgent. Enough waiting. Bring him. Two of the uniformed men grabbed my arms. I struggled, kicking, twisting. Let go of me. You can't force me underground. We're not forcing you, the tall man said calmly. We're guiding you. There's a difference. That's not a difference. I yelled, but they didn't care. They dragged me toward the platform. My boots scraped against the metal floor as they pushed me into the center. The glowing blue veins brightened instantly, responding to my presence. Then something terrifying happened. The platform reacted to me. It pulsed once beneath my feet, like it recognized me. Lights raced along the edges, forming patterns that looked almost like symbols or language. The tall man inhaled sharply. It's true, he whispered. It senses him. He's the rightful heir. I froze. What heir? My family has nothing to do with this land. The man in the black suit leaned in. Your family tree may not be as disconnected as you believe. The ground trembled again, this time violently. One of the mansion windows cracked. A deep, echoing sound boomed from below, a sound that did not belong underground. The tall man raised his hand. Lower the platform. Now! The uniformed men jumped onto the platform with me. The black-suited man joined. The tall man stepped last, then slammed his palm onto a control panel at the edge. The metal rings surrounding the lift snapped shut, and the world above began to rise away as the platform descended. My heart pounded as daylight shrank into a thin circle of sky. The deeper we went, the louder the hum grew. It wasn't machinery. It was rhythmic, like a heartbeat echoing through the earth. Blue lights illuminated a spiraling shaft lined with metallic ribs. Strange carvings, ancient symbols, covered the walls. Some glowed, faintly reacting to our movement. The air thickened, warmer, tinged with a metallic taste. No one spoke. Finally, the tall man broke the silence. When we reach the archive, do not touch anything. Do not speak unless it speaks first. And whatever you do, he looked directly into my eyes. Do not answer if it calls your name. I felt ice in my veins. What? What? He inhaled sharply. Because once it knows your voice, it never forgets. A low, bone-shaking roar rumbled from below. Not mechanical, not structural. Alive. The black-suited man whispered. It's awake. My hands shook uncontrollably as the platform sank deeper into the ancient darkness. Whatever was waiting beneath my land was expecting me, and it knew I had finally arrived. The air grew heavier the deeper we descended. Warm, thick, electrically charged. It felt like stepping inside the lungs of something ancient, something that had been breathing beneath my land long before humans ever walked here. None of the HOA men spoke now, not even the tall one. The deeper we went, the more the shaft transformed. The metallic ribs faded into stone walls marked with carvings, symbols that didn't belong to any culture I recognized. Some spiraled like galaxies, others twisted like vines, but one symbol repeated over and over. A circle divided into 5 segments. The same symbol on the HOA uniforms. The tall man noticed me staring. You're wondering why our emblem matches theirs. Theirs? I repeated. Who exactly is that? He didn't answer. Of course he didn't. The platform suddenly slowed, vibrating with a low mechanical groan. The blue veins beneath our feet flared brighter, as if guiding us. Then, with a heavy metallic sigh, the elevator stopped completely. We had reached the bottom. A circular chamber opened around us, massive, ancient, echoing with a pulsating hum that sank into my bones. The air tasted metallic and warm, like the engine room of a giant machine or the inside of something alive. The floor below the platform was carved stone, but not rough. Smooth, polished, almost glass-like. Ahead of us, a massive wall curved around the chamber, glowing faintly with shifting lines of blue light. They weren't random. They moved like streams of information, like thoughts. It's beautiful, I whispered despite myself. The tall man shook his head. It's not beauty, it's memory. The archive is thinking. A cold chill slid down my spine. The black-suited man stepped off the platform first. He moved carefully, as if afraid to disturb the silence. The others followed. I stayed exactly where I was. Come, the tall man ordered. It already knows you're here. Staying on the lift won't protect you. I stepped off, hesitant, trembling, and the moment my foot touched the stone floor, the entire chamber reacted. The blue glow along the walls flared. The hum deepened into a low, resonant vibration. The air thickened, pressing against my ears. And then, a voice, a whisper, not heard with my ears but felt inside my skull. You returned. My heart nearly stopped. I staggered, grabbing the nearest support beam. What was that? I gasped. The tall man's expression tightened. Do not respond. Not with your voice. I didn't respond. I snapped. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. I can hear your thoughts. A wave of cold panic washed through me. What is it? What's speaking to me? Before he could answer, lights surged across the massive curved wall. The glowing lines rearranged themselves, forming shapes, fragmented images. Landscapes, symbols, faces, buildings, things that looked both familiar and impossibly alien. Memories, but not mine. The voice returned, louder now, like a whisper sweeping through my mind. You left. You abandoned your post. What post? I whispered before I could stop myself. The tall man spun toward me, eyes wide with panic. No, don't speak to it. But it was too late. The chamber's glow intensified violently. Blue veins shot across the stone floor, racing toward my feet. The light wrapped around my shoes, crawling up my legs like something alive. I tried to step back, but I couldn't move. The light was holding me, anchoring me, claiming me. The voice echoed through the chamber again, stronger, vibrating the very walls. Your bloodline carries the key. Your return completes the circle. My bloodline, I shouted, struggling against the glowing tendrils. I'm not connected to this place. The tall man grabbed my shoulders, trying to pull me back, but the blue light lashed upward like a whip, shoving him away with a force that wasn't physical. The HOA men stumbled helplessly. The black-suited man yelled, "Cut the connection. Shut it down." But the tall man shook his head violently. You can't shut it down when it's chosen someone. It's awake now. My heartbeat thundered in my ears as the light climbed my chest, wrapping around my arms like glowing vines. My breath came in short gasps. What does it want? I pleaded. The tall man's voice trembled. It wants what it's been waiting for. Someone of your lineage to unlock the archive. I'm not unlocking anything. You don't have a choice, he whispered. You were never supposed to be away for so long. You were supposed to come here earlier, much earlier. The voice filled the chamber again, deeper, older, almost sorrowful. The cycle resumes. The last keeper has returned. My blood ran cold. Keeper. I choked out. I'm not a keeper. I don't even know what this place is. The tall man backed away slowly, fear etched across his face. You don't know, he said, because your family cut ties generations ago. They hid the truth. But the archive never loses its claim. The blue light suddenly surged upward, engulfing my head in a halo of searing brightness. I screamed, but the sound was swallowed by the chamber. The last thing I heard before the light swallowed my vision. Welcome home. White. Blinding, burning white. For a few endless seconds, that was all I could see. The chamber, the suits, the stone floor, everything vanished. I felt suspended in a space with no walls, no gravity, no sound except a faint rhythmic thud, like a heartbeat echoing through eternity. Then, shapes began forming inside the light. Faint silhouettes. People. Buildings. Ruins swallowed by sand. Massive stone structures carved with the same 5-segment circle that the HOA wore on their uniforms. Each image flickered like a memory, not belonging to me, but somehow passing through me. My chest tightened as an overwhelming pressure filled my lungs. Not painful, but impossibly heavy, as though something enormous was pressing down from the inside. And then the voice returned. Not loud, not angry, just ancient, almost relieved. Your lineage returns to fulfill what was abandoned. I tried to speak, but couldn't. My jaw wouldn't move. The light held me like invisible hands gripping my mind. You do not remember your heritage, it whispered. That was intentional. The white faded, slowly, folding itself back into the darkness of the underground chamber. My knees buckled the moment the glow released me. I collapsed onto the stone floor, gasping for air like I had just surfaced from drowning. The tall HOA man rushed forward, grabbing my shoulder. "Don't move," he urged. "You're disoriented. It happens the first time it speaks directly to you." I croaked, my throat raw. "You mean this has happened to others?" He hesitated. "Yes, to every keeper before you." I forced myself upright, vision still blurred, heart hammering. "What is a keeper? Why does it keep calling me that?" The tall man exchanged a tense look with the others, then kneeled in front of me. "The archive isn't a building," he said quietly. "It's a living repository, a consciousness, a record of everything one ancient civilization discovered, built, and feared." He pointed to the curving stone walls, where faint symbols still pulsed with blue light. "This place wasn't built by governments. It wasn't built by any nation, you know. It predates all of them. Thousands of years ago, long before borders or cities existed, your ancestors discovered it." "My ancestors?" I shot back. "My family didn't own land until the last century. We have no ancient roots. We moved from city to city for generations." "That's what they told you," he said softly. "But your true bloodline runs deeper. Much deeper." I felt cold all over. No, you're lying. Why will my family hide something like this?" The tall man exhaled, as if preparing himself. "Because the last keeper died violently." My breath stopped. "What happened to them?" He stood up slowly, eyes darting toward the glowing wall. "The archive chose them, just like it chose you. But once bonded, the keeper sees things, knowledge, memories, warnings. Some of what the archive stores is overwhelming. Some of it is dangerous." He paused. "Your ancestor couldn't handle what they learned. They tried to destroy the archive, try to bury it, hide it, break the cycle." His voice lowered. "So the archive erased them." My heart dropped. "Erased? You mean killed them?" "Worse," he whispered. "It removed them from history. Wiped every trace of their existence. Photographs, documents, birth records, journals. Gone in hours. Their own family forgot they had ever existed." I felt a wave of nausea hit me. "That's impossible." But the look on his face wasn't the look of a liar. It was the look of someone who had seen impossible things become reality. "The archive cannot allow its lineage to abandon their purpose," he continued. "It waits. And when the bloodline resurfaces, when someone with the right genetic signature acquires the land, it awakens. And you built 5 mansions on top of it." I demanded. "What are these houses for?" The black-suited man answered this time. "They're anchors. Each mansion aligns with one part of the archive's memory sectors. Without them, its power leaks, disturbs the ground, the sky, even the mind." He paused. "The HOA exists to maintain the containment structures." I stared at him in disbelief. "You're telling me this entire HOA, this whole operation, is built around keeping this thing underground?" "Yes," he said simply. "And around you." The chamber pulsed again, soft, slow, like an ancient heartbeat repeating beneath the stone. I steadied myself. "Why me? Why my family? We never asked for this." The tall man's voice softened, almost pitying. "Because your bloodline carries a resonance the archive responds to. It's not just genetic, it's spiritual. The original keepers formed the first circle, the 5 families chosen to protect the archive. Over centuries, the circle broke apart. Some lines vanished. Yours survived. And now it wants me to do what?" I asked, frustration cracking my voice. "Stay down here? Protect it? Serve it?" The chamber lights flickered sharply, as if the archive itself reacted to my anger. The voice slipped into my mind again, calm but unshakable. "Your role is not servitude. Your role is remembrance." I clutched my head, overwhelmed. Remembrance of what? The walls lit up, bright, brilliant blue. Images exploded across the surface. Cities collapsing, storms ripping across oceans, mountains shattering open like broken shells. A disaster. A cataclysm. And then the worst image. A colossal shadow rising from the earth. Something with no shape, no face, only movement, only hunger. The archive spoke. The world forgets the first destruction. The keeper was made to remember and warn. The tall man whispered, pale as stone. It's showing you the first collapse. The ancient disaster that nearly erased civilization. The archive was created to prevent it from happening again. I stared around the chamber, horrified. And it wants me to what? Sound the alarm? No, the tall man said quietly. It wants you to understand the second collapse is already beginning. My heart froze. The voice echoed one final time, soft as a breath. Prepare the surface. What sleeps will rise again. The chamber plunged into darkness. Darkness. Total, suffocating, absolute darkness. I couldn't see my hands. I couldn't see the chamber walls. I couldn't even see the faint blue glow that had filled the archive moments before. It was like someone had swallowed the entire world. For a second, I thought I had gone blind. Stay still, the tall man whispered somewhere to my left. His voice trembled in a way that sent a wave of panic through my chest. It does this when it wants you to listen. I'm already listening, I whispered back. I don't need the lights off for that. It isn't about need, he said. It's about control. A faint vibration ran through the floor, slow, steady, rhythmic. The heartbeat of something older than time. Then I heard it. Not in my ears. Not in the chamber. Inside my skull. The second collapse approaches. I swallowed hard. What collapse? When? What am I supposed to do? Silence stretched, so long and so deep it felt like a void between realities. Then the voice answered. The surface shakes. The oceans turn. The sky breaks. You will be the one to speak when the world forgets. My breath hitched. I don't understand. Speak to who? Warn about what? Blue light flickered suddenly. Thin lines rippling across the floor like cracks forming and healing in an instant. The chamber shuddered. The black-suited man hissed. It's unstable. It's pushing too much energy through the substructure. The tall man snapped. Hold your ground. It wants him to see. The darkness thinned into a deep blue haze. And slowly, the walls lit up again. But this time, the archive wasn't showing memories of the past. It was showing the future. Images flickered across the curved surface like holograms. Shaking cities. Skyscrapers bending like paper. Massive waves swallowing entire coastlines. Storms splitting the sky open with pillars of lightning. And beneath it all, the same shadow I'd seen earlier. The formless thing rising from the earth. I felt sick. Is this going to happen? The tall man didn't answer. The black-suited man did. Yes, unless the keeper intervenes. I am not a keeper. I shouted, voice cracking. I don't know anything. I don't have power. I don't even know what this thing is. The archive responded instantly, its voice cutting like cold steel across my thoughts. You carry the pattern. The voice. The bond. What pattern? I yelled. What bond? A deep hum filled the air. The floor lit up beneath me, symbols swirling into shape. They looked like a map. No, like a diagram of a gigantic system. Lines connected the 5 mansions on the surface to the chamber below. The anchors fail, the archive whispered. Surface fractures spread. Containment weakens. Awakening accelerates. The tall man inhaled sharply. It's talking about the seismic changes. We felt them for months. The black-suited man shook his head. No longer. This began before we even built the first mansion. I stepped forward, my legs trembling. What is waking up? This time, the archive didn't use images. It used sound. A low, monstrous rumble filled the chamber. A vibrating, distorted growl that felt like it was being dragged through 1,000 layers of earth. A sound no human throat could ever produce. The floor cracked. The lights surged. The tall man shoved me backward. Move! Move! It's breaching. What is? I screamed, stumbling. The chamber exploded with blue light, racing up the walls, spiraling into the ceiling, firing through the stone like lightning in slow motion. The archive wasn't showing a warning anymore. It was reacting. The tall man grabbed my arm. We need to get you out of here. Now! But the archive's voice boomed, shaking the chamber so violently dust rained from above. The surface depends on you. My ears rang. My vision blurred from the shockwave. For a moment, I thought my skull would split open. Then, everything stopped. The lights faded to a soft blue glow. The massive images on the wall dissolved. The vibrating floor stilled. The archive spoke one last time, calm, steady, final. The cycle turns. Prepare the land. Return to the surface. The awakening begins above. And just like that, the chamber went silent. The tall man grabbed my shoulders, face pale. You heard it. You have to go. The danger isn't down here. It's up there. What danger? What's waiting for me up there? The beginning, he said quietly. The elevator platform suddenly rose by itself, metal rings snapping into place around its edges. The black-suited man shoved me toward it. Go. You have limited time before the first rupture. You must reach the surface. The tall man added urgently, and whatever you do, don't look directly at the light when you reach ground level. What light? I demanded. Neither of them answered. The platform shot upward, faster than it had descended. Wind roared in my ears. Shadows blurred. The entire shaft trembled. And then, a blinding flash pierced the darkness above. Daylight, but brighter, sharper, almost white. As the platform rose toward the opening, I saw the silhouettes of the 5 mansions. But they looked wrong. The air around them shimmered. The walls glowed faintly, like they were heating from inside. The sky above was swirling in unnatural patterns, clouds spiraling like a vortex. My heartbeat thundered. Something had begun, something the archive tried to contain, something it could no longer hold back. The platform locked into the surface with a violent jolt. I stumbled onto the cracked earth, blinded by the shimmering sky. The ground trembled beneath me. A deep, impossible roar echoed from beneath the mansions. The same sound I had heard in the chamber. The awakening had reached the surface. I shielded my eyes, heart racing, as the center mansion flickered with brilliant, blinding light. And then, its foundation split open. The earth cracked. The 5 mansions shook violently, and something began pushing upward from beneath the soil. Something enormous, something ancient, something that had waited for my return. The archive had warned me. Now, I finally understood what it meant. The second collapse had already begun, and as the ground cracked open and the first shadow rose from beneath the mansions, I realized this wasn't the end of my story. It was only the beginning. If you want to know what happens next, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Zarila HOA Stories, and turn on the bell icon, because the next chapter might be the one we all need to hear.